feel like letting go, you can take control. You can turn this all to something beautiful where you feel life gets you down, 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 gets you down, down, down. Say it louder, say it louder. Oh, feel the moment, feel the power. Oh, bring the animal back to life. Oh, bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Say it louder, say it louder. Oh, you're the question, you're the answer. Oh, bring the animal back to life. Oh, bring the energy one more time. Oh, if you feel like letting go, you can take control. You can turn this all to something beautiful where you feel life gets you down, 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 gets you down, down, down. Say it louder, say it louder. Oh, feel the moment, feel the power. Oh, bring the animal back to life. Oh, bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Say it louder, say it louder. Oh, feel the moment, feel the power. Oh, bring the animal back to life. Oh, bring the energy one more time. Oh, if you feel like letting go, you can take control. You can turn this all to something beautiful where you feel life gets you down, 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 gets you down, down, down. Say it louder, say it louder. Oh, feel the moment, feel the power. Oh, bring the animal back to life. Oh, bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Say it louder, say it louder. Oh, you're the question, you're the answer. Oh, bring the animal back to life. Oh, bring the energy one more time. Oh, if you feel like letting go, you can take control. You can turn this all to something beautiful where you feel life gets you down, 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 gets you down, down, down. Say it louder, say it louder. Oh, feel the moment, feel the power. Oh, bring the animal back to life. Oh, bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time.
A very good evening. Welcome to World Cup 2026 live here in LFS for our one and only game of the day. And it is a massive one. Looking on at the two-time world champions France and the beaten finalists in 2022. Looking for another star to their logo for this one. And who knows, they are one of the favourites, but it hasn't quite gone that way for the big teams in this tournament so far. And a Senegal team who were crowned champions of their continent and then stripped of that title a few weeks later. The controversies around that still unfolding. So two teams who have the desire and the real quality to win, but who will come out on top in this group eye opener to see who can really get off the mark with a positive result. Speaking of positive results, last night we had some great action. Group H, Uruguay and Saudi Arabia couldn't be separated in their game. Al Amri gave Saudi Arabia the opener before a late Uruguay leveller, seeing the first time World Cup champions, of course, drawing 1-1 with Saudi Arabia. And another draw in the early hours of the morning at Group G, as Iran and New Zealand got their campaigns underway. A 2-2 draw between those two. Rezaian opened the scoring, responded to New Zealand's opener, a double from Just, and Moebi made sure it wasn't to be 3 points for New Zealand. A 2-2 draw. Quick look at these two teams. Of course, France, the two-time world champions. Didier Deschamps will depart after this tournament, however long that lasts for France. Kylian Mbappe is the captain and has history in his name. And we'll talk about that a little later on. Of course, two-time world champions in 1998 and in 2018. Désiré Doué is my player to watch for this tournament. And Les Bleus are on the march for another star. For Senegal, it's Pape Thiaw. And the controversies over the last few months of Senegal look to be put into the past as this World Cup campaign gets underway. Kalidou Koulibaly is their captain. They've only reached the quarterfinals. 2002 was their best finish for Senegal. Sadio Mane, the player to watch. And the Lions of Teranga are here to cause another upset to start this tournament. We have seen some exciting results already from this World Cup, and there's surely to be more to come on a day when some of the best talents on the planet are on show at this World Cup. Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland and Lionel Messi all start their campaigns this evening. So what a night we are in store of. But we start with the opener, France against Senegal from MetLife Stadium, where the final will be held in a few weeks' time. Kickoff is on the way shortly. Welcome back to World Cup 2026. Here are the teams for this one in Group I. Starting with France, Mike Maignan starts in goal. A back four of Jules Koundé, William Saliba, Dayot Upamecano and Theo Hernandez. Aurélien Tchouameni and Adrien Rabiot are the midfielders. Ousmane Dembele, the current Ballon d'Or holder, he starts in attacking midfield in the 10 role as maybe a shadow striker. Michael Olise and Désiré Doué, the wingers, and Kylian Mbappe, the captain, is leading the French line. On the bench for Didier Deschamps' team, Samba, Rezer, Lacroix, Luca Hernandez, Digne, Konate, Gusto, Kone, Kante, Cherki, Zaire Emery, Akliouche, Thuram, Mateta and Barcola. Absolutely flooded with quality off the bench, France, and in the starting 11. Senegal, they start with Mendy in goal. Diatta, Koulibaly, Niakate and Diouf are the back four. Idrissa Gueye alongside Camara and Pape Gueye is in midfield. Ismaïla Sarr and Sadio Mane are either side of Nicholas Jackson, who is up front. On the bench for Senegal, Diouf, Diaw, Jacobs, Mondi, Sarr, Sek, Papsar, Cease, Njai, Diarra, Njai, Diaw, Mbai, and Dieng. So, we're off with a cracking fixture, one of the ones to watch in France for this whole tournament, taking on a Senegal side who were at one point the champions of Africa. How will this one turn out? We're about to find out. It's France against Senegal, and kickoff is next. A very good evening. Thank you very much for joining us for this one on a night where France get their tournament underway, and after the last two tournaments really couldn't have gone much better in the grand scheme of things. Ultimately, a penalty shootout defeat is what separated them from back-to-back world champion status. In 2018, no one could beat them in Russia, but in Qatar 2022, it was Argentina's turn. But France are back, and they have one last dance with Didier Deschamps as their manager, 14 years in charge. How will it start, and how will it end in this tournament? Well, for Senegal, as I said, a lot of expectation as to whether they could be the second best team in this group, or whether they could defy expectation and maybe cause a little bit of a shock, as they did back in 2002 when France were the European and world champions at the time, and they beat them in their World Cup opener 24 years ago. Well, that one was a dramatic win, and this one will have to be too, to keep France at bay with such attacking talent and so many quality players and such depth in every area of the pitch. It will take a big job, but Pap Chow is ready and raring to do the job for Senegal. But everyone watching to see, are France what the hype is really built up to? We saw Spain with the expectation, not able to get the job done in their first group game, and some mixed results for some of the top teams in the tournament. Germany probably the standout, albeit though taking into consideration their opposition in Curaçao. This will be a real test for France, no doubt about it. No easy games in what is known as this campaign's group of death, the highest ranked average between the teams, and we have the world number ones, France, getting us underway at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Two sides who have been steeped in history previously. But can France once again try and climb the mountain? They've been to the peak twice. Can they make it a third time? Or can Senegal cause an opening game shock that would really certainly blow this tournament out of the water as to who could win, and leave it open to anybody's observation? Already Senegal with the early possession, of course. France set up in a unique position with Ousmane Dembele and Kylian Mbappe both on the field at the same time, and it will be hard really not to put them both onto the pitch at the same time. This is good early play from Senegal though. To the left from Mane. Ball swung into the box, and Theo Hernandez has to head it over the top. Great cross there by Diouf. El Hadji Malik Diouf, the West Ham player, on the overlap. Mane on the inside. Diouf on the overlap, swings a lovely cross in. And Theo Hernandez forced into the first bit of defending of the afternoon. And an early corner here for Senegal. And the referee from Australia. Referee Alireza Fagani. Let's see what Senegal have right from the off here to try and test the French defence. And there's some pushing and shoving that the referee is still not happy with between Tchouaméni and Jackson. Corner taken short this time, little 1-2. Left-footed delivery as Mike Magna is actually down, so I think the referee's given a foul in the way of France. A lot of tussling in there, and we see it again. Jackson just easing his way onto the keeper, and actually I think it's Chouameni's foot that catches Mike Magna. They get a little bit lucky there, France, to get the foul, but free kick it is. Upamecano to Saliba. Chouameni. France with their first meaningful piece of possession in this game. Jules Koundé back to Deo Upamecano. The expectation at its highest for France. Going into this World Cup as joint favourites along with Spain, the European champions. And really it does come down to the form that their attackers find themselves in, and Desiré Doué and Ousmane Dembélé amongst them. Such a breadth of quality. That's a lovely ball forward, and Mbappe with a little loose touch, just a little behind him. Breaking into space there, Mbappe. Great ball played through as Rabiot come flying in there on Sadio Mane. That's going to be a foul and a free kick here to Senegal. Koulibaly's clearance, just Mane was caught by Adrien Rabiot. Dangerous on that one. %, Andy. None of the big boys have really, I think, as you say, Andy, to the point, yes, Germany won convincingly, but again, take into consideration their opponents. If you look at the other big teams, you talk about the Netherlands and Spain, none more so than Spain, really, in the early stages. There's no one that's really laid down a marker. Of course, we still to watch Portugal and England play amongst the possible dark horses for this tournament, and we'll see them play tomorrow, but we haven't seen the world champions play, Argentina, yet, so there's still a few still to go in the next couple of days. But I think really to this point no one's really laid down a marker, and with that shock result from Spain yesterday, it did kind of just add some doubts over whether they do have that raw ability to, when they need to, find a way to win a game. Brazil as well, of course. Brazil, many have predicted, I predicted to go to the final, and I think that's just a little bit of growing into the tournament, and very easily what it could be. And that's a lovely zip ball through. A run from Jules Koundé, finds himself on the right wing all of a sudden there. On the way back to the Senegal goalkeeper Edouard Mendy. From the back here, nicely Senegal, good football down the right hand side. Diaté was beaten to it by Aurélien Chouameni. Hernandez, room to find a way through there, and referee lets it run. Idrissa Gueye was the interceptor. Diouf. Back to Niakate. Edouard Mendy. Just over 6 minutes gone, and to this point Senegal have probably had the most dangerous moment with Diouf's cross. Ultimately not finding a Senegalese head, but really the most threatening attacking move to this point for either of the two teams, and holding good possession here against France. That's a lovely little give and go, and they're in behind here, trying to find them finish. Not much on it really from Ismaïla Sarr, and Deo Upamecano able to scramble it away just in the nick of time as Doué was bundled over, but that's not given as a foul. France a little bit flapping in the first few minutes. Senegal have settled into the game and been able to make a few quick, sharp passes. Settled into it massively. Pape Gueye was Shoved off the ball by Caoimhan. Doué brought down, referee letting it go. And a through ball there, a little heavy from Diaty. Really good football though from Senegal. Drive and run from Pape Gueye a little earlier. Nicely won back by France. Struggling to play through this Senegalese team at the moment. Nice work here again, finding the gaps and spaces. Lots of areas to manoeuvre as Jackson was in an offside position as Jules Koundé clears, but flag up against the Senegalese centre forward. He was a good half yard offside there, Nicholas Jackson. Didn't need the lines for that one. A bit of a sloppy start from France though. Senegal have been a bit aggressive. Not allowed them to play through. Not allowed them to really settle into the game too much. Get into their rhythm. Because that's when the danger comes, when France do settle into their rhythm. That's when the forward players start to light up into the match. And you certainly don't want that starting too early to Senegal. Upamecano back to Mike Magna. Of course, the first choice goalkeeper at a World Cup for the first time for France. Hugo Lloris was the man between the sticks in 2022 for so many years under Didier Deschamps. Oh, Aurélien Tchouameni there took a major risk, letting that one roll behind, and had major belief in his goalkeeper. Mike Magna, he was right too, but a risky moment. Here is Michael Olise, who has thrived at Bayern Munich in the season just past, but a little bit isolated there, very well crowded out by the Senegalese midfield. They've been really, really compact so far, Senegal, not allowing France to play through the middle. There's Diatta on this right hand side, Doué to track. Koulibaly. Idrissa Gana Gueye. Couldn't keep that one in play with a little pass down the line. You see one of the Manning brothers, very famous NFL player. Certainly no surprise, no question over who they're supporting with the PSG shirt on. I would suspect it would be France. I would suspect. French team, a couple of French players play for PSG, of course, including the current Ballon d'Or holder Ousmane Dembélé, who's barely got into this game. We haven't really seen much of the French attackers so far. The French possession that they have had has been a lot with their defenders. That's credit to Senegal, not allowing them to play. As Diouf with a lovely first touch pass round the corner. Jackson had come across but was smothered away, forced all the way back to Niakate. Idrissa Gueye plays it all the way back to Edouard Mendy. And the Senegalese goal. Just over 10 minutes gone. It's been, as I said, strong start from Senegal. And a bit of a bitty start from France. Haven't had their rhythm to this point, but lots of the game to go. Rabiot. There's Dembélé tracking back into midfield to try and get some of the possession. Olise, Dembélé lays it out wide to Upamecano. Koundé down the right side, but he's going to play it back in field to Dembélé. He's going to swing it out to Désiré Doué. The two PSG players linking up there. Not much further ahead. Upamecano. Dembélé rolls it through. Mbappe, not the best of first touches there from Kylian Mbappe. Great vision. Great pass by Ousmane Dembélé. And Mbappe just didn't have the first touch. I think it did with the earlier chance where he was threatening him behind. Mbappe The touch just behind him, and that let him down, and on this occasion just a little too heavy with the touch. Little glimpses of the French captain. As we see it again, lovely rolled through ball by Ousmane Dembele, great angled run by Mbappe. It's just a touch with the outside of his right boot that escapes him. Just couldn't take control of the ball there. Mbappe rightfully will be one of the main highlighted French players. That's a lovely move. Adrien Rabiot finding the space down the left. He's not got many options on again. Has to reverse it and plays too much on it to Desiré Doué. It's out of play for a throw. Here's a man who's done wonders with this, albeit an incredible crop of French players that have come through over the last 10-15 years that Didier Deschamps has been in charge, but the wonderful coach that is. Took charge in July of 2012. Has overseen 179 matches as the French head coach. Oh, Mbappe is latching on the loose touch. Dembele just overhit the pass through the middle. Again, Mbappe did well to pounce upon the heavy touch of the defender. Mbappe and Dembele trying that link up again. This time Dembele's pass was a little heavy. They get it right. Those two. That's where the danger is so far for France. That combination. Doué. Drifting in field, trying to find a pass. Has Upamecano. Koundé. France have started to settle a little bit more with the play. Olise. Doué. Nice on the half turn. He was caught there a little by Idrissa Gueye. It's going to be a foul. And waste no time in taking the free kick, France. A little bit of a wasteful pass there from Dembele. On the way to Sadio Mane. Down the line by Diouf, looking for the run of Jackson. Well cut out by Upamecano, and Koundé working it back to his centre-back. As I was saying, 179 games in charge of France. He's won 116 of those games and just lost 31. He's the head coach of the national team. They've lost just once since the Nations League semi-finals in June of last year. That was in a friendly, actually, just in the warm-up to this World Cup by the Ivory Coast, or Côte d'Ivoire. He beat Brazil, beat Northern Ireland, beat Colombia. And en route to qualifying, beat Iceland, Ukraine and Azerbaijan in their group. A pretty easy qualification campaign for France to get to this World Cup. Upamecano. Down the right-hand side is Koundé. No room there for Mbappe to get on the end of. Dembele finding it wide to Olise. Reverse pass there from Koundé is towards no one in blue. Well, it's been a chaotic few months for Senegal, as I said. That one, Pap Chow, has been through it all with Senegal. Saliba, Rabiot, Saliba to Chouameni. Chouameni to Olise. One thing you can say about France since the Euros 2 years ago, they didn't really seem to click in the tournament, albeit they did still reach the semi-finals, beaten by the eventual winner Spain. was a really enjoyable game. So even for their standards, France, even though they were nowhere near their best at their last international tournament, still find their way to the final four. That's the quality they possess. Of course, a much longer, much tougher experience of this sort of tournament, and different challenges that will come their way. Maybe one that Senegal will be much more accustomed to with the natural heat. Maybe the African countries will be a bit more accustomed to it. Here's Desiree Doué down the left. Little flick to Theo Hernandez. Mbappe coming deeper. Has to play it back to Saliba. Chouameni, they're getting much more comfortable, France. Much more settled on the ball. Koundé, Olise, Dembele's going to shoot from range. That was blocked there by Niakate. And again, it's France just passing it around with rhythm, waiting for their moment. Senegal have just kind of stepped off a little bit. Dropped a little deeper. Doué trying to work between the lines. Picked up by Theo Hernandez. Back inside to Doué. Again, tried to beat past the man, but was nicely stopped there by Idrissa Gueye. Decent game so far. That's a lovely way to ball in behind. Senegal on the break, looking dangerous. Whipped cross. Just too deep. Not the best of crosses from... I think that was Ismail Assar. It was. See it here again. Lovely move. Diatta into the inside. Beautiful threaded through ball by Pape Gueye, and Ismail Assar lofting that one well out and over the crossbar and out behind for a goal kick. But that's where the danger can come from Senegal. We've seen it in moments on the break when France do give the ball away. Those sharp direct balls through the lines, threading it for runners in behind. That's where Senegal have their dangers, and Ismail Assar will be key to that. Saliba. Chouameni. Upamecano. Down the line to Olise. Aurelien Chouameni out wide to Olise. Koundé on the overlap. Koundé trying the early cross. Will, however, be a France corner as Sadio Mane trying to deny them that. Koundé persevered. And the last touch off Sadio Mane. And France have their first corner of the game. Just over 20 minutes gone. France have settled in the last few minutes. Ball whipped in from the corner. And it's actually chested by Nicholas Jackson onto Chouameni and behind for a goal kick. One thing, certainly France not waiting around. A couple of set pieces they've had, and they've been sharpish at taking them. The Senegalese fans in the crowd enjoying their day out. Of course, a beautiful venue for football. Of course, this venue, there's the Mexican wave. Seen it a couple of times at this World Cup. It is a true World Cup symbol. We are underway. So Senegal win the free kick in the midfield. And a venue that will be the hosts of the final, in which France will be hoping to be back here on the 19th of July, playing in such an occasion once again, after what was probably one of the best World Cup finals ever 3.5 years ago in Qatar. Kylian Mbappe becoming only the second player to score a hat-trick in a World Cup finals. A World Cup final where France were 2-0 down, Argentina were cruising, and France found a way to get themselves back into it. Took it all the way to penalties. In the end, losing out in spot kicks. Spot kicks have actually ended France's campaigns in 2 of their last 3 international tournaments. Here's Kylian Mbappe, nicely won back by Rabiot. Rabiot's continued his run and showed a little bit too much there to the backtracking Diatta, who puts it behind for the corner. Mbappe takes it short and quick. Olise back to Mbappe. France not looking to lose their momentum. Doué kind of twisted and turned into bodies rather than away from them. And now France can be a bit vulnerable here on the breakaway. Senegal trying to cause a nuisance as Upamecano having to come across. Just getting the better out of his man. Nicely recovered by Les Bleus. What was a tricky spot. It was 3v3 at the halfway line. They covered it well there, France defensively. Olise pinging one out to the far right hand side. Too short for Dembele to reach, and Diouf will comfortably play it back to Mendy in the Senegal goal. Here is Mendy. Oh, taking a dangerous risk. Dembele was within yards and he decided to try and dribble with the ball. Just got away with it, but very risky move from the goalkeeper. Sadio Mane. That's my player to watch for Senegal at Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. He's mostly well known, of course, for his time at Liverpool for a number of seasons and become almost part of the most dangerous front three in European football at the time. Joined Bayern Munich and not quite worked out for him at Bayern, and ultimately ended up moving on to Al Nassr. Was actually done well. Scored 54 goals for Senegal and Sadio Mane in 126 caps. Well, here's a chance in behind for Senegal. It's Nicholas Jackson. 1v1 against Upamecano. Jackson hits the post and it comes off the back of Manya and behind for the corner. Well, the danger on the break from Senegal is causing France problems. And it's again here where France just give it away cheaply. I think it's Dembele with a poor touch. Just given away cheaply. And the ball fed in behind. Jackson making the angled run off the back of Upamecano. He drags him into a difficult spot. To be fair to Jackson, it's a narrower angle. Difficult angle. Tried to sneak it in the near post. In the end, off the post and off the left boot of Mike Manya. That very easily could have went in. And it goes behind for the corner. Goodness me. France got away with it, but it's not done yet. Senegal with a corner. 25.5 minutes gone here. Senegal to deliver with the right foot. Swung in the header by Desiree Doué. The near side goes out for the throw-in, but they will call a hydration break. A little later than scheduled, but 25 minutes or so gone. And that will cue the hydration break in this one, just when the game was getting exciting. And to this point, not much to separate them, but you have to say Senegal have looked dangerous on the breakaway. France has been a lot of possession and trying to measure their passes, find the right targets. Mbappe with one or two moments of danger, but it is Senegal on that counter attack that looked the most dangerous at the moment. A 25-degree heat in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where MetLife Stadium is located. And the midday sun, 3:30 in the afternoon, local time. You see that moment and chance for Nicholas Jackson in behind. Really good opportunity, clattering it off the left post. And a bit of fortune for Mike Manya, who very easily could have inadvertently put it into his own net. And ended up goes behind for a corner, but of course, with the hydration break, it's being adopted by some as the tactical break, as well as a hydration break, allowing the managers and the head coaches to have a tactical talk with the players, give them some key pointers to what's going right and what's going wrong. And it's a conversation that is being had by both sets of players with their head coaches. Let's see what Didier Deschamps or Pap Chow can find for their teams. Look at that cauldron of a venue. Home of course, the New York Jets and the New York Giants, the NFL franchises. But it's a party atmosphere inside MetLife. Both sets of fans enjoying the atmosphere of this World Cup, the celebration at this moment in time. We're about to get back underway, around about 3 minutes that was, which has caused some, not anger, but a little bit of frustration from the footballing world to the fact that these hydration breaks are kind of being shielded as advertising breaks. Certainly not here in the UK though, that. Not a chance. Throw in here for Senegal, Niakate to take the throw. So hinting that this could be a long throw for Senegal. I don't think they're really hinting at it. They're giving us a very clear representation that it's going to be a long throw. Bit of danger could come of this. Niakate launching into the area. Header cleaned away as Mbappe trying to spring away again, but a bit of a miscue. Dembele was brought down there, wrestling for the ball. That's going to be a foul. You see it here. Gets his touch all wrong, and as Mbappe comes back in, it's just that, or Dembele, sorry, comes back in, it's the high boot. And ultimately sees the foul given away by Camara. Oh, given away cheaply by France here in a dangerous area, and an opportunity on the edge of the box from Ismail Assar. This game is very, very open at the moment, and I think far too open for France's liking at the moment, because they are getting caught time after time at the moment. Setup just not right. Certainly in 1v1 situations is where France are losing out. Simple giveaways of the ball, poor passes. Senegal have been really sharp in those areas, and that's what's having the moment where Senegal have probably been the better team to this point. Sadio Mane eased off the ball, but it will be a foul. Has been very stop-start too, this game. Lots of set-piece opportunities, lots of free kicks. Lise evading the pressure of Jackson deep in his own half, but the clearance straight back to Senegal possession with Pape Gueye. Niakate. Idrissa Gueye back to Niakate. Senegal having their best spell of the game. Clip ball over the top. Easily will be retrieved by Mike Manya. A little heavy there for that pass over the top. Hernandez to Saliba. Rabiot Wide to Koundé. Dembele. Elise now back to Upamecano. Now Tchouaméni. Wide to Theo Hernandez. Seems to be France are at the moment, and certainly in this first half, have been very much ponderous with the ball. It's probably down to how compact they've defended out of possession here, Senegal, and every time they try and squeeze through the lines, France just not quite finding those targets. There's some French royalty watching on. Among them, famous Patrick Vieira, Robert Pires as well in the watch. I mean, it's a very bold idea to wear a suit in these conditions, but respected. Theo Hernandez. Back to William Saliba. Adrien Rabiot. Upamecano trying to manoeuvre some bodies, but again, the ball through was a nice idea. Just not the right pass to Jules Koundé. I can see what France are trying to do. Just not quite coming off for them at the moment. A bit of head tennis between the two teams as Upamecano sees that one out for a throw. Some thinking for Didier Deschamps to do. Tchouaméni getting physical, but well held off there by Jackson. Pape Gueye finds Diatta. Gets on the inside of Doué. Diatta now to the wide is Ismaïla Sarr, but overplayed it. And Kamara making the run in behind. Ultimately, goal kick. Well, so far, 34.5 minutes gone. France have had just one shot. None on target. 3 for Senegal, none on target, but they've hit the post in the mix of that. France have had more possession, but nothing dangerous from Les Bleus to this point. And one thing that has kind of underpinned their World Cup successes previously is their immense goal threat. There's a launching ball over the top. Mbappe was making the run. Elise trying to pick up the loose pass. Nicely won back by Dembele. As France start to press a little bit more intensely. Doué down the left to Theo Hernandez on the overlap, but back to Doué he goes, pretty sharpish. It just seems they get to the certain point, France, and they've just not got nothing else to give really. Can't seem to penetrate the box at the moment. As Koundé sees off Sadio Mane. Wanted a foul there, not given by the referee as Rabiot runs into trouble. A bit too comfortable there, Adrien Rabiot, and miscued his pass. So Idrissa Gueye has it. Diatta. Kamara now. Back to Koulibaly. I think at this moment in time there is a little bit of imbalance from the French team, because there's just this real lack of understanding as to who's tracking who and where they're tracking. All well and good being fluid on the move, but when you're off the ball and out of possession, you don't know who you're picking up or where you're meant to be picking up. That's where the holes will open up and the gaps will emerge, and Senegal haven't really had a tough task of trying to play through France as of this point. Laying around for fun at the moment, and it's just their own passes that are not quite working. That's what's breaking up their possession, rather than France pressure. I think Pap Chow can be happy with how his team have played in terms of their possession. Maybe a lack of danger in the final third for them too. Take advantage of what has been a pretty lacklustre French side to this point, but I will reiterate, I wouldn't underestimate them, and I certainly wouldn't write them off. Because this team is terrifying. But they haven't played quite ferociously yet. Far from it. That's a lovely bit of skill from Sadio Mane. Absolutely sent Jules Koundé. Gets back in on the Senegalese, but ultimately it is Senegal who win it back. Mondi with the long kick. Theo Hernandez header straight out of play. Well, I have to say, credit to Senegal. They've matched France in every area at the moment, in and out of possession. They've bettered them in 1v1 situations. And Diat has broke away from Doué once more. Once again, Ismaïla Sarr breaking in behind. Seen away by William Saliba on the cover, but I think at the moment, that's where the problem is coming. It's the wingers for France that are just, I mean, not to be too harsh, but out of possession, that's where they seem to be struggling. When they have the ball, Chouameni's dropping deeper, Adrien Rabiot's kind of pinning that midfield, and then the front four just kind of interchanging between each other with their press, and then with France giving the ball away quickly, they're kind of caught out of position, and the gaps are huge for Senegal to play through. It only takes them to beat one man, and they're right towards the defence of France. And there's a very famous Frenchman, Arsene Wenger. The upper echelons of FIFA now, of course. Arsene Wenger, the former Arsenal manager. And here comes Ismaïla Sarr. Lovely ball, chopped inside. Was caught there by Saliba, but they will continue to play as the shot from range is into the hands of Mike Maignan. Ismaïla Sarr stays down though. France will play on for the moment. That's a lovely little bit of skill by Olise. Chops inside, finds Koundé on the overlap, is completely free here. Koundé looking for the cutback. Plays it behind Mbappe and no one there to respond. Rabiot, Olise, still Sarr is down, and the referee will just stop the game for the moment. Ismaïla Sarr stays down. We see it here. Yeah, a little late from William Saliba. He does catch him in the foot, but referee plays advantage. Yeah, it's a little late, but there's nothing more in it. I think the referee made the right call there, in my opinion. I can understand where they can be frustrated, Senegal, but he played the advantage, and the advantage of having a shot on target. But Ismaïla Sarr caught by William Saliba. Sarr currently getting treatment. Of course, with the new rule, with the injury not coming from a foul that led to a yellow card, Ismaïla Sarr will have to come off the field for a minute here. France have struggled a little bit though with the tempo of the game. They haven't been able to meet the levels of Senegal in terms of a physicality level at the moment. As Ismaïla Sarr making very clear his anger at the rules, but the rules are the rules. It's not the referee's fault. I don't agree with the rule either. It means absolutely no sense why the injured player has to go off for a minute and disadvantage his team for being injured. It makes absolutely no sense. But nonetheless, that's what's going to have to happen, because the letter of the law says there was no yellow card handed out, so no exemption is applied. Jules Koundé, wide to Olise. The crazy part is the fact that France have only had their most dangerous moment when the Senegal have been down to 10. Here comes Doué, first real run down the left. Plays it inside. Theo Hernandez back to Doué. Again comes inside, looking for the run of Mbappe, but he was well marshalled. And wanting a foul there again. Diatta, and he's actually going to get a foul against him for handball. He went down wanting a foul, the referee didn't blow. France tried to play on, and in the end, Diatta gets penalised for a handball. Yeah, he handles the ball. And the foul was never given, so it is a free kick. And a opportunity for France to deliver here late in the first half. Well, I would suspect Ismail Assar will be back on the field any second, if not already. And he is returning as he just runs past the camera, spotting the French players ready to take this. Ousmane Dembélé. If they give us a wide angle, I'd like to see who else has taken it. It is Dembélé. It was Elise, the other option. Dembélé's delivery headed away in the middle by Koulibaly. So Elise takes it down. Dembélé with the reverse. Want the handball, but Senegal not getting the decision. There's Mbappe trying to dribble in behind. Just about nicked away from him in just a matter of time. Chouameni. Olise. Olise. Down the right hand side. Nice whip ball in there, dangerous, and Koulibaly puts it behind, but not the most convincing bit of defending. And Kalidou Koulibaly, a little bit awkward. Lovely cross by Dembélé though. First time he's really got down in a wide area. He's been playing very central so far, Dembélé. Has looked very isolated in that pocket. As he comes wide, he's whipped a dangerous ball in that's forced Koulibaly to see it behind for the corner. To quickly take him with the left foot of Elise and comfortably into the hands of Edouard Mendy. Bit of an anticlimax. Last minute of the first half, France 0, Senegal 0. France have responded well to a little bit of a setback, and Senegal having a decent spell in the game, but still hasn't shown to life with the attacking chances. Very little goal-mouth action in this first half. And certainly very little in a French persuasion. Kind of a disappointing first half, you would say, for Didier Deschamps' side. But they knew this would never be an easy game. That's a lovely touch by Upamecano to stop that one from breaking in behind, and Rabiot space to drive. Has to reverse it back to Chouameni. 6 added minutes at the end of the half. Time for a goal to be scored before the break. Here's William Saliba going for the long diagonal. Up and battled was Jules Koundé, who will take it down, but will have the last touch as it goes out of play. Sadio Mane takes the throw in. Elise with the press, Mbappe with the danger. Pressure on Niakate, helped out by Sadio Mane. And Diouf there too. Another throw in for Senegal, but certainly a better press there from France. Put them in a little bit of danger for Senegal. Saliba heading forward, bouncing ball, skips Rabiot's area of expertise, and here's Diatta. To the midfield, Idrissa Gueye. Fire one forward towards Mane, but overhit it. That's lovely from Rabiot, nice deft header, finding Dembélé. Lays it to Doué again, a miscued pass. I mean, the space was gaping, and that's what's let France down. Poor play in moments. Really good again from Rabiot, just nip it away. Finding the space, and they were in there, France. Dembélé, just a lazy ball out wide, and whether Doué didn't have the desire to get onto it as quickly as he should have, but it's easily cut out by Senegal. Just frustrating moments for France in this first half. The attack hasn't just quite gelled. And that's a surprise. There was a lot of chopping and changing 2 years ago at Euro 2024. He really never could settle on the right formula, Didier Deschamps. Despite that, they still were able to find ways to progress, but certainly not convincingly. But a really strong first half for Senegal, I have to say. They've more than competed. Doué again tries the tricks and flicks. Oh, but here's a little bit of skill from Sarr. He was eased off the ball, wanted the foul. Again, waved away by the referee. Says it was nothing more than strong play. Nothing of a foul. Saliba. Feinting it down the left channel for Theo Hernandez. Trying to measure one for Mbappe, but massively overhit. Frustration from the French captain for the moment. Not making the right calls at the moment, the French players. That's where I kind of think that's let them down. It's not that they've played really badly, it's just in moments where they can be a danger. I think 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10, they've made the wrong decision. Played the wrong pass, or if they have played the right pass, they just haven't got the right execution of the moment. Played it too heavy, or not enough, or in the wrong area. Poor decision making from France in this first half. That's a nice ball from Upamecano. Dembele down the right is Olise. Swinging in the early cross. Mbappe was the danger, but a little high. High, shall I say. The cross from Olise. And in the end, Mbappe the main danger. It sailed over his head. 90 seconds or so to go with the first half. France 0, Senegal 0. Best of clearances there. Dembele did take the pace off it, and Olise was able to settle it down. Upamecano finds Koundé. Chouameni. Desiré Doué drops into the midfield to help the build up. Theo Hernandez. Chouameni. Olise, a little bit more patience from France. Dembele, Koundé trying to find Olise, but beaten to it there was Olise by Niakate. A little bit more patience from France there in their build-up. Just as I say that, a sailing telegraph ball by Ousmane Dembele that dispossesses the French again. There's been a moment, half, where haven't made things work. It can be resolved very easily, but got to give credit to Senegal. They have continually looked dangerous, and maybe they'll have a chance before the half here. Mane. Diouf trying to roll it in towards Sadio Mane. Holds off the defender. Mane across. Oh my goodness, Ismaïla Sarr. That should have been 1-0. I mean, that was a golden opportunity for Ismaïla Sarr. On a plate for him. You see this beautiful play, greatly worked by Diouf. Mane with the cutback across it, comes off Jackson into the path of an unmarked Ismaïla Sarr, who caught it on the rise and saw it skied over the bar. But that is a huge chance for Senegal, right on the death of the first half, and a missed opportunity that bails France out of a tricky situation where they could have found themselves behind at the break. But as the whistle goes, nothing to separate them. France and Senegal, but make no doubt about it, France haven't been at the races so far. Senegal certainly have, but they've missed their biggest chances to try and punish this French team. Half time, it is France 0, Senegal 0. Sure, one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible.
All this time, I've been holding on so tight, 'cause all that I do was easy to use. So call my time, but you weren't really mine, just something to do. Thought I never knew. I do was easy to use. So call my time, but you weren't really mine, just something to do. Thought I never knew. No surprise, but nevertheless, I'm still stuck in self-defense. No surprise, but nevertheless, I get lost when I look in your eyes. I just want to be next to your voice.
Welcome back to World Cup 2026 live here in LFS. It is 0-0 at half-time between France and Senegal in New Jersey. First half of France have struggled to really get the attack going, and Senegal's threat has come on the counter-attack, but nothing to separate the two teams at the break. The other two teams in this group will get underway at 11 o'clock tonight. Iraq taking on Norway. We'll see Erling Haaland make his World Cup finals debut this evening. That is at 11 o'clock. And then at 2 in the morning, if you're willing to stay up to the early hours, Argentina get their tournament underway. Defence of their title at 2 o'clock. Argentina taking on Algeria as Lionel Messi makes an appearance at his 6th World Cup, and then Austria against Jordan rounds off the night's action at 5 a.m. But we'll be back tomorrow. Portugal against DR Congo is our feature game tomorrow at 6, followed by the big one in Group L to round off our first round of matchday 1 fixtures in this tournament. England taking on Croatia tomorrow at 9. But a big second half to come between France and Senegal. France not quite at the races yet, and Senegal looking dangerous. 0-0 at the break. Welcome back to World Cup 2026. We are almost ready for the second half to get underway here at MetLife Stadium. France and Senegal. France kicking from left to right, Senegal from right to left in this second half. Certainly Senegal came the closest to opening the scoring on 2 occasions in the first half, with Ismaila Sarr knocking over the crossbar and Nicholas Jackson, of course, hitting the post. And other than that, France have struggled to get going, really hit the ground running. It's been a bit of a struggle for Les Bleus to this point, but let's see what Didier Deschamps has come up with at half-time to alter things for France. As I kind of feel it was a lot of it, they were kind of given really little chance in terms of tactically in that first half. I think they got it wrong, France. Positionally, they were all over the place. When they did give the ball away, they weren't really linking up well between the midfield and attack. It was very separated. They just needed to really just go back to basics, really. Have the full-backs maybe coming more inverted and keep the wingers wide, rather than trying to get them all in the middle. When they all really struggled to get on the ball and really struggled to make an impact, it was a bit of a muddle and a mess at times for France in that first half. Here's Theo Hernandez to Desiree Doué. No changes at the break, by the way, for either team. There's Aurélien Tchouameni has it here. Upamecano to Dembele. All the way back to William Saliba. And they certainly didn't struggle with possession in the first half. France, they had much more of the ball. 59% of it in that first half, but not using it to threaten Senegal. That's a nice ball lifted into Dembele. And Doué gonna shoot! That one swung wide. Lovely ball flicked over the top and into Doué's path in space. Nicely worked by Upamecano. Doué just breaking off into the half space in the pocket. Ran about the edge of the D and decided to have a go with his left. First real bit of danger that France have posed. Any real concern to Senegal right the way throughout the game. Maybe some alteration to the approach and how they go about trying to break down this Senegalese team, who, give them their credit, in and out of possession, have probably bettered France. in all areas. Upamecano under pressure. And the referee actually is going to give a foul against Nicholas Jackson. So it will be a France free kick. Doué trying to launch it down the left to the run of Theo Hernandez, who acrobatically takes control of the ball and is caught there, but ball stays in play, and Hernandez did well to threaten. Senegal scrambled to clear, but a little bit more concise with their play there, France. Certainly Theo Hernandez didn't get forward very much in the first half. It was more Koundé down the right. There was very little threat from the left for France in that whole of that first half, with Doué and Hernandez. Very right heavy. Certainly not like France don't know how to find a way to break a team down. Chouameni, Upamecano. Direct ball into Koundé's path, who laid it out wide to Dembele, but Koundé, I think, snuck offside. That's going to be a free kick to Senegal. Decent ball from Upamecano, nice idea, but oh, actually, I think he might have been just on there, actually, Koundé. Right back, might have played him on. The assistant didn't think so. Diouf, Niakate, not much room for Senegal to play there, as Rabiot with a nice turn in the middle, trying to lift it towards Olise, but difficult for Olise to take in. That's where Rabiot kind of struggled. There wasn't much room for France to play through the middle in the first half. Very congested midfield area. That's where Rabiot can thrive, when there is space and opportunity to run with the ball. Kamara has to play it all the way back to Niakate. Pape. Diouf. Mane. There's been a meaningful possession of this half for Senegal. It's Drissage. Niakate going for the switch. Nice ball out to the right hand side for Diatta. Here's Ismaila Sarr. He gets away from the challenger Doué. Sarr. As Kamara was eased over. Again, the referee says it wasn't a foul as Doué breaks away. It's 4v4 here. Mbappe off to the left. Cuts on to his right. It was caught there the first time of asking. Really good interception. Senegal defend that 4v4 pretty comfortably. But now France in a 1v1. Saliba with the slide. And slid perfectly and made a clean challenge on Jackson. Here's Rabiot. Directly into the path of Mbappe, but no room to turn for the skipper. Mbappe just hasn't really done very much so far to this point. It's not like him at a World Cup. Still very early days, of course, but has thrived. 56 goals for France in less than 100 appearances. This is his 99th cap. He will have his 100th, of course, in France's second group game against Iraq on Monday. Good challenge by Jules Koundé, winning it high up the field. Olise, room here for France to manoeuvre. Olise! Good save by Edouard Mendy. Really well won back again at high up the field. It's Jules Koundé winning it back, and Olise, first real time we've seen France with an opportunity and space high up the field. Nicely won back by Koundé. Laid it into Olise's path, and the Space was there to break out to the left. He did. And on his left foot, Olise back across goal, and a good save with the left leg of Edouard Mendy, who closed down the angle and forced it behind for the corner. Best moment of the game for France, without question. Olise to take the resulting corner. Swung in with the left boot, and this time into the hands of the Senegalese stopper. Good stop by Edouard Mendy. That was France's first shot on target. Are they growing into this, France? Looked a little bit more cohesive in the final third in this second half. And their first big chance of the game through Michael Olise. There's a man who found the net and not only scored but also set up his teammates quite often. Actually did that more than he scored this season. A total of 48 goal contributions in 52 matches for Bayern Munich. 26 assists and 22 goals, which is a phenomenal feat. And Michael Olise, one of the most dangerous wide players in world football, starting to show his quality in this game. On the press there, forced Mendy. But they played out of it well there, Senegal, and found the space beyond. Sarr rolling it through. Jackson just closed off there by Deo Upamecano. Just about stepped in at the right time. Again, really well worked. Edouard Mendy was being pressed by Olise, but they bypassed the press, Senegal. Ismaïla Sarr trying to thread through Nicholas Jackson. Deo Upamecano able to cut that one away. As Mbappe and Olise weren't on the same page there, and that's given away by France. Game opening up a little bit more. I wonder who that will benefit more. You would probably say France because of their attacking quality, but as I say, Senegal have been dangerous in transition moments. Kalidou Koulibaly. Diatta finding Ismaïla Sarr. Jackson in behind again. Just a little bit too much on the ball there from Ismaïla Sarr, but the right idea. Well worked. The last moment didn't quite work for Senegal. This game is building to an opener coming soon, but at what end will the first goal of this match be found? We're no closer to finding out. Tchouaméni. Dembele wide here on the right channel. Plays it inside, too much on it to find Koundé. That's where France are losing the ball on a number of occasions. That's the well one back by Olise, who pounces, and Mbappe in behind. Mbappe! Good save by Edouard Mendy. Two really good stops. The first to deny Olise, and that one even better 1v1 to deny Mbappe. But this game is getting even more open and more attacking chances. Here come France again. Mbappe trying to cross it in. This time it will be deflected behind for the corner, but we see this moment again. It actually came from France losing the ball with Jules Koundé. They quickly win it back. Olise in that pocket just behind the striker, picking up the loose ball, playing it through to Mbappe, hanging off the back of his defender. And 1v1 against Edouard Mendy. Really good stop by the Senegalese goalkeeper. France with two really good moments. Now they have a corner. Taken short. Dembele back to Olise. Clipped in by Hernandez, but that's cleared. Not most convincingly cleared, but cleared nonetheless by Senegal. The pressure building. That's what I said. There is a goal emerging. You can feel it. Where will it be found? France with their two best chances of the game in the last couple of minutes. Adrien Rabiot with the switch. finding Mbappe, who's struck out to the right, and he's broken away from his fullback, and he's hacked down in the box. Referee says corner. They are incessant, the French players, that it should be a penalty. Mbappe for the first time had his fullback on toast, and Didier Deschamps saying he was hacked down in the area. Let's see it again. Yeah, it looks like a foul to me. Let's see it again from this angle. Yeah, Sadio Mane. I think it's a penalty, in my opinion. It's what you call an attacker's type challenge, and it is not a good challenge, in my opinion, whatsoever. He denies Mbappe the chance to break in behind. I don't actually think VAR have decided to have a look at this. Well, there is a VAR check. Wasn't much convincing, but I genuinely think this should be a penalty. The first time, as I say, really, Mbappe has looked dangerous in behind, 1v1. And Sadio Mane with the challenge, he's just late. Nowhere near the ball, and Mbappe's taken and down in the box. A genuine attempt to win the ball, but he didn't. And he took down Mbappe, but let's see what the VAR has to say, and whether the referee might need another go at this. Will this be a huge turning point in this game? The French number 10 against the Senegalese number 10. And Mbappe certain, and I think the referee's been called to the monitor. I think it's quite clearly going to be an overturning of the initial decision. I think the referee will have one look at this and make the decision quite clearly. I mean, you only need to take one glance at it and see that it's a penalty. As we see it here, it's the left leg of Mbappe that just gets cleaned out by Sadio Mane. Yes, he's trying to win the ball. I can understand that completely, but he's late. He doesn't get to the ball, and he stops the attacker from getting in behind. Takes him down. I mean, it's as stonewall a penalty as I've ever seen, really. I don't think there's too much argument. Although he's having a good look at it, making sure he's got all the angles he wants. Well, he's made his call. Let's see what it is. The referee, Alideza Fagani. And he is a penalty to France. He had a quick look at it, the referee, after initially giving a corner. And it's actually, has he said no penalty? He said no penalty. It looked like he pointed to the spot. I think everybody was convinced it was a penalty. And he said no. Is this referee on drugs? Are you mad? That is the most bizarre decision I've ever seen. How on earth is that not a penalty? I mean, I don't know what he expects Mbappe to do. I don't know if he wants him to take flight. But that is absolutely inconceivable. I mean, the fourth official has the impossible job of explaining to Didier Deschamps why the referee's made that decision, because I don't even think the referee has a logical explanation. How that is not impeding the attacker is beyond me. I mean, everybody was convinced, and there was an audible groan in the stadium. Even the broadcast commentators were confused. That is bizarre, to say the very least. I mean, it's shocking. Wow. I mean, but to be honest, credit to Kylian Mbappe. It's the first real time that we have seen him create some danger in behind, and I think Senegal are more than lucky. Goodness me. I'll give him one thing. He's stubborn, the referee. He was certain it wasn't a penalty at his first goal, and even after having multiple angles to have a look at it again, he still got to the wrong decision. But nonetheless, that's his opinion. It may be wrong, but that's his opinion. I mean, I don't understand. Apparently the referee said that Mbappe initiated the contact. I mean, I don't even know what that means. Obviously he initiated the contact because he was breaking in behind the defender. Anyway, moving on. That is bizarre. Oh, what's Upamecano playing out there? Got a little bit lucky. Nicely dealt with by Mike Banya, but he was almost sold down the river by his defender that time. Elise, lovely spin away into space. Threading it through. Mbappe! Oh! Edouard Mendy might have been carried and confused as well as to where that one was going. But he was a whisker away, Mbappe, from being on the end of that pass from Michael Elise. I have to say, Elise's made the difference for France in the second half. He is the one making them tick in the final third. And he almost played a wonderful through ball to Mbappe. And here comes Senegal on the breakaway as Ismail Assar was seen away by Theo Hernandez. Good strong defending there from the fullback. Him opening up, getting a bit more end to end, but just over 25 minutes to go. I'm still sitting here absolutely stunned. That was not a penalty, and I'm sure the whole world watching is wondering what on earth. France have looked much more dangerous in this second half. Here comes Doué into the box, rolls it to Theo Hernandez. Two Senegalese defenders in the way to block that shot. They've given up on the move yet, France. Right here, Doué occupying defenders. Mbappe finding the space. Doué trying to roll it on, but didn't get much contact to it. Cleaned away. Upamecano to Koundé. Elise, lovely first touch in a second. Driving inside. Plays it to Koundé on the overlap. Back to Elise. Elise measuring one and behind. Mbappe! There's his moment. There's France's goal. Elise with the ball. Mbappe with the finish. Maybe a bit of poetic justice for France. They've been pushing for it in their second half. It's been Elise that has flicked the switch in the French attack. And it is Mbappe at a World Cup again for Les Bleus, who opened the scoring. They were lackluster in the first half, but they have come alive. And with 24 minutes to go, France 1, Senegal 0, and it's surely only what they've deserved. Beautiful. I mean, the vision of Michael Elise in this second half. It's been coming. He's played two or three similar type balls in behind. Mbappe making those runs off the back of the defender. This time, he times it right. The pass is perfect, and he just eases it round Edouard Mendy and into the far corner. Didier Deschamps celebrating, and maybe, just maybe, that's them off and running at this World Cup. It took them 66 minutes. But France are on the board. And he's on the move again here, Kylian Mbappe. In behind and just about Koulibaly rescuing it back to his goalkeeper. But France have risen their level. And what will be the Senegalese response? That's a lovely ball in behind. Jackson on the break. Jackson! Oh! What a finish, but the flag's going to go up. Well, that's going to be incredibly disappointing. What a finish by Nicholas Jackson. But the flag's going to deny Senegal the leveller. Good break down the right-hand side. Jackson, he's a good yard or two offside. I mean, he did it in the first half. I mean, it baffles me how he finds himself in these positions, but what a finish that is. And it's never going to be remembered because it's offside. Quite by a distance. And why we will have the hydration break. The Senegalese celebrations curtailed. And the flag was up and correctly up by the assistant. At least one of these officials can do their job correctly. And while we have the hydration break, a bit of a debrief as to what has been a crazy last, 10 minutes? Where France were incessantly should have had a penalty. I'm still baffled as to how that wasn't given. And then Kylian Mbappe and Michael Olise decided that they weren't going to let it escape them. And within a couple of minutes, France were in front. But absolutely purling from Michael Olise. And then Mbappe, the danger in behind. Those runs. He struggled to really get anywhere near this type of level in the first half, France, but they've worked it out, they've figured it out. But it is beautiful, wonderful vision from Michael Olise. He creates the moments, but as I say, France have just taken that extra step up. Risen their level, they've become much more dangerous, much quicker, much sharper, much more decisive in their play. That's number 57 for the country in 99 appearances. I mean, it's incredible this level at a World Cup for France. 13. The record is 16. He's still in his prime years, Kylian Mbappe. I mean, even the referee guy that's on the BBC is saying that was a shocking decision. But I mean, I just genuinely don't know how the referee has come to that conclusion. I mean, it's just beyond obvious that it's a penalty. I mean, it's one of the most blatant stonewall penalties I've seen in a long time. I mean, everybody was convinced that the referee would go over to the monitor, have a quick look, and say, yeah, penalty. And even from afterwards, we were so convinced that we didn't even need to listen to him what he said. And then it became clear that, no, he hadn't given it. Even the explanation is absolute rubbish. As we get back underway, by the way, from the hydration break, France on the move pretty quickly here. Jules Koundé trying to lift one in. Took a deflection. Olise on the half turn with the shot. Caught by Edouard Mendy. Well, a gorgeous goal from France. Already MetLife Stadium has had some cracker matchups. In my opinion, the first real big matchup of the tournament, Brazil-Morocco. Now France-Senegal. What have Senegal got in response? Remember, both sides haven't went to their benches yet, so there are options. Only in a French persuasion, there's a lot of options for Didier Deschamps, but his team have probably found their best rhythm in the last 10-15 minutes. Will be a Senegal corner though here, as I think it was Kamara played it off Adrien Rabiot. So a corner to Senegal. We haven't had a shot in this second half. Haven't had really anything in attack, Senegal, in this second half. been definitely a half where France have taken charge, but we've already seen at a World Cup, a 1-goal lead is never a certainty of a lead. We've seen already some big teams being pegged back from those sorts of positions. Corner to Senegal. On the right-hand side. Left-footed delivery. Swung into the box, and that one's going to see it right out and over. Right for the throw-in on the far side. Diouf, not the best of play there. Well, some of the superstars watching on this time. Adrien Rabiot playing head tennis with himself there. Finds the space for Doué on the left. Doué charging on the inside, trying to direct one. And Mendy again with a save. Doué off that left-hand side, stayed wide and just tiptoed inside every few yards. And as he gets inside the box, breaks onto his back onto his left foot, tries to roll it directly at Edouard Mendy. He makes the good save down to his right-hand side. Les Bleus are on a roll and in the groove now. And we've got another corner here. And that's going to trigger some Senegal substitutions in a moment. Elise goes short. Doué back to Elise. Dembele to Theo Hernandez. Flick finding Koundé, and now Mbappe wide on the right. Mbappe rolls it to Koundé, little back heel, but didn't quite find Mbappe. Senegal able to cut that apart. France a little bit too complacent there with their play. It's getting a little bit show-offy in a sense, but they will win the throw-in there as Upamecano. I have to say, when he has been called into action today, Upamecano, he's stepped up. 1v1 certainly, as we're going to see a double Senegalese substitution. We're going to see the end of the day for Ismaïla Sarr. He's going to be replaced by Ibrahim Mbaye. And also going to see the change. Lamine Camara is going to be replaced by Habib Diarra. So Diarra and Mbaye on, and coming off are Ismaïla Sarr and Lamine Camara. And Ibrahim Mbaye, of course, has the French connection. Born in France, plays for PSG. Probably would love nothing more and to upset the apple cart here. Not only that, obviously, want to score for his country at a World Cup. And the man who has already scored, getting a little bit greedy, isn't he, at a World Cup, is Kylian Mbappe. 13 goals at a World Cup finals. I mean, it's just beyond explanation. Mbappe tried to threaten there, but nicely stepped in, and Dembele trying to unleash Mbappe down the left here. Break on. Doué was threatening as Mbappe was in behind again, but he bundled over the defender, Habib Diarra. That's going to be a free kick. Yeah, Mbappe again the threat in behind, but he just kind of caught Habib Diarra there. It is a foul. Just over 80,000 people inside MetLife Stadium to witness one of the best attackers on the planet, in Kylian Mbappe, doing what he does best, scoring in World Cups. Good stretch there from Mbappe to shield the ball, and he wins the free kick. This was a little ahead of him, but he did well to grasp control of it. Olise to take the free kick. Out to the right-hand side. It's Rabiot with the header. Bounces down in the edge. Dembele tries to feed it back out to the left, but ends up giving it away inadvertently. Caoimhan with the crunching challenge, but a clean one, says the referee. Here's Doué. Caoimhan. Olise. Koundé to Dembele and back to Adrien Rabiot. Well, as we make the point, Kylian Mbappe is now joint 4th for the most goals at a World Cup finals. 13 alongside Just Fontaine, also of France, and Lionel Messi. He has gone 1 ahead of Pelé, who he was level on after he scored his hat-trick in the last World Cup final. Went from 9 to 12 in one game, bypassing 8 players on the run to that in one match. And he's just bypassed another one of the greats of world football as the Senegalese whipped cross off Jackson, who fires it over again. I think he's offside again. I mean, that's about 3 or 4 times in this game Nicholas Jackson's been offside. This one's a little tighter, but it's more than enough times. Well, only 3 players have ever scored more goals at a World Cup than Kylian Mbappe now. Gerd Müller, Ronaldo, original R9, and Miroslav Klose, who has the record for 16 goals. So Mbappe only needs 3 at this tournament to equal that. 4, and he will break the record. As France make their first change of the game, Bradley Barcola is going to replace Ousmane Dembele. So the 2 PSG players swapping places in the French attacking lineup. Just over 10 minutes to go. France 1, Senegal 0. Olise setting up Mbappe. He duly took his goal well. Here is Bradley Barcola. His first involvement. Caoimhan. I have to say, give credit to France, who really looked cut adrift in the first half, well below level, giving away poor play, really poor build-up, lacking any sort of cohesive threat in the attacking areas, really struggling and looking very vulnerable. That's nicely won back by Doué, who timed that to perfection. Mbappe, now Olise, rolling it out to the left for Bradley Barcola. He ended up running into the challenge of Diatta. As I was saying, France up the level in the second half. They come out in the second half with a real intent to change the momentum of this game, the dynamics of this game, and he started to find the right movements, play the right passes, and make some dangerous runs. Some threat with that front four that is oozing with quality, but he started to see it in this second half, and Michael Olise, I have to say, has really turned this game around for France. He moved much more central. He was just wide on the right-hand side in the first half. Dembele was the central one. They swapped places, and it's done wonders. Here's Rabiot. He's time to move. Oh, what a lovely reverse pass. Barcola in behind. Barcola makes it 2. France double their lead. A beautifully timed ball by Adrien Rabiot. A reverse pass for the on-running Bradley Barcola. Barely on the field a couple of minutes, and he has doubled Les Bleus' lead. France 2, Senegal 0. And that was another wonderful move and a coolly taken finish. The difference in this second half from France, like chalk and cheese, from the first 45 to the second 45. Wonderful from Adrien Rabiot. I said he's at his most dangerous when he's got space to run into and options ahead of him. He had lots of space, and he had the perfect option in Bradley Barcola, who just clipped it over Edouard Mendy, who came rushing out again But Barcola, such composure. They just dink the goalkeeper and double the French lead. Didier Deschamps loved that just as much as he liked the first one. Maybe even more so. And one more time is the song of choice after that goal. It's one more time for France in this game. And the celebrations from the support to one of the favourites. He really didn't show and live up to that status in the first half, but they've really come alive and found a way to make the difference in the second half. Two really well worked goals. And they've got more options. I mean, they made one change, France, and it's the super sub Bradley Barcola to add a second. And that's only one of so many strings to their bow in an attacking area. Jean-Philippe Mateta, Marcus Thuram, Magnus Akliouche, Ryan Cherki, Warren Zaire-Emery, including the four that started the game, and Bradley Barcola, who's come onto the pitch. I mean, an embarrassment of riches at the top end of the field for France. And if there's ever a problem with the ones who start, they might just recycle them through with all their subs. Don't worry about the defenders or midfielders, just recycle the attackers. You'll find a way with one of them. You got to feel sorry a little bit for Senegal and Pap Chow, because that first half performance gives such confidence, such a foundation to try and have a go at France in this second half and really feel like they were there for the taking, because after the first half performance they were. France, as I said, just rose to a different level, and a level that Senegal just haven't been able to match in 1v1 moments. That's lovely from Barcola. They're away again here, France. They're wanting more. Olise, Mbappe. Just a comfortable one for Edouard Mendy, but the build-up play exquisite again. That's now for Senegal, trying to keep the score down. They will still have very relative and realistic expectations of getting out of this group. Here is Desiree Doué. They've no easier task. They've got Norway up next. And the danger of, if Mbappe and co weren't dangerous and threatening enough, they've got Haaland and co to come up next with this Senegalese defence. And we'll see how they fare in that one around about a week's time. Now it's all about maybe just managing this game now for France. And speaking of managing it, they're going to make another change. Looks like it's Cherki that is getting himself ready on the sideline. Ryan Cherki really announced himself as a next and upcoming French superstar at the Nations League finals, as Desiree Doué's day is done, and Ryan Cherki going to come on in his place. Well, Cherki making only his 8th cap for his country, and he put 2 goals on his tally, one of which came in an international friendly against Côte d'Ivoire in the build-up to this World Cup. The other one, as I said, coming in that Nations League. That was before he was a Manchester City player. And that 5-4 defeat against Spain. And here comes Barcola in behind. Ball run away from him that time. Scored his first France goal. Got a goal and an assist in the 5-4 defeat to Spain. That was an absolute barnstormer of a game in that Nations League semi-final. Still probably one of the best games of international football I've ever watched. France were 5-1 down in that game. They scored 3 late goals to make any sort of realistic expectation that they could even find a way to get back against the European champions, but in the end, they finished much closer than the game probably was overall. Pure madness. Well, what's next for these two? Well, Iraq is on the cards for France in 6 days' time. A bit of travelling to do between now and then. They head to Philadelphia, which isn't too far away. It's just west of here. Lincoln Financial Field for that game. And then Norway in match 3. For Senegal, Norway are their next opponents. They won't have to go anywhere, Senegal, because that will be here at MetLife Stadium in a week's time, just less than a week's time. We'll see how Norway and Iraq do in their opening game. It kicks off in just over an hour's time in this group. That's taking place in Foxborough, which is in Boston. An exciting, intriguing match to see how Erling Haaland does on his World Cup debut. Martin Odegaard also in the team. Alexander Sørloth amongst the dangerous players for Norway. Corner here for Senegal. Less than a minute to go for added time. Diouf to take the corner. Footed delivery. Reflect the cross. Handed away by Rabiot. Cherki takes it down and deftly plays it towards the path of Upamecano, who was trying to burst forward there for France, but didn't quite have the raw pace. Grand scheme of things, though, it will be pretty pleased, France, with the outcome, as we will have 8 added minutes, and I think a lot of those were for the absolute calamity of a VAR decision. And I won't blame VAR, because they had the common sense to say to the referee, I think you've made a mistake here, go and have a look. And still the referee got the wrong decision, but it hasn't in the end. Ultimately made a major difference to the outcome of this game for France. And what could have been a very controversial decision and a very tight game between these two at that stage, but whether it inspired or energized France to maybe prove the referee wrong and maybe just energize them to find that opener. Nonetheless, they find 2 goals of their own accord. That's lovely from Elise, laying it to Ryan Cherki. Mbappe's up there. Cherki, can he pick him out? I'm going to decide to just roll it backwards, and actually it was blocked. He tried to cross it back to Elise. Good recovery from Senegal. Just ease. I mean, Ryan Cherki's easing forward. It just looks so simple. Here's Elise. As Senegal still committing bodies forward, maybe just to try and snatch maybe a consolation. At this stage, as Elise dragged back there, that's going to be a free kick. A reminder for you, a double-header of action tomorrow on LFS in the World Cup as we conclude match day 1 of the group stage fixtures. Group K and Group L are in action tomorrow. Portugal against DR Congo. That's at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. And England take on Croatia in a repeat of the 2018 semi-final matchup. That's tomorrow at 9 o'clock on LFS. Certainly a great grand finale to the first set of fixtures. England-Croatia. We've had to wait nearly 6 whole days for it since the World Cup started, but I'm sure it'll be well worth the wait to see. A bit of an unknown factor coming into this tournament. England and Croatia really are those two. have Croatia bypass their best spell? They've still got Luka Modric in the squad. Somehow he's found his way here. And we'll see how England fare under Thomas Tuchel for the very first time at an international tournament after almost 10 years with Gareth Southgate. Got them to a semi-finals in Russia, quarter-finals in Qatar, and of course 2 Euros finals, so not a bad job. Thomas Tuchel taking over the mantle for his first international tournament as England boss. We'll see that tomorrow. Just short of 5 minutes to go of the 8 added. France 2, Senegal 0. Senegal with a lot of the possession in the last couple of minutes, but I think France are just happy and settled to sit a bit deeper and maybe manage this game to a finish. I mean, the difference between the first and second half is night and day. I've said it so many times, but just the sheer numbers prove such a difference. They had 1 shot in the whole of the first half, France 9 in the second, 7 on target. Compare that to Senegal, who had 5 shots, 1 on target in the first, haven't had a single shot in the second half. Koundé with a lofted ball over the top. Olise on the charge. Kalidou Koulibaly in the cover. Defends it well and sees it up the field. But Koundé wins his 1v1 battle. Taken down by Rabiot, but he was caught out there in the middle. Good to win it back, and opportunity here for Senegal to break. Mbaye cuts onto his right. Mbaye! That's a quality finish. Maybe, just maybe, Senegal have said it's not done yet. And maybe some added time drama. Senegal with a goal. You feel it had been coming. The momentum had swung in their favour. And Ibrahim Mbaye with a wonderful finish. Adding the height. It's a poor bit of goalkeeping from Mike Magna. Has to do better. Kind of palms it into his net, tries to save it, but goes the wrong direction and kind of just clips it with his hand and into the net. But frustration and anger from Didier Deschamps on the bench. And Mbappe calling for calm from his team. 2.5 minutes. And can Senegal snatch a late leveller? Olise being held and strung on to Mbappe. Oh, that is incredible. Kylian Mbappe from range silences Senegal again and doubles his tally for the day. 3-1 France, and the 2-goal lead restored with less than a minute since Senegal found the net. Mbappe with a brace, and France are going to get the 3 points. Well, he decided to go for it. I think Edouard Mendy just wasn't set. Olise was being pulled and hauled at. The referee played advantage, and Mbappe, once he got it, you knew what he was going to do. He spun, and he just scooped it. Edouard Mendy just a half yard too far forward. Just couldn't reach. But that is perfection from Mbappe. 3-1 France. Game, set and match. What a response to the setback. A hug between Deschamps and Mbappe. They've shared some special moments. And another wonder of magic from Kylian Mbappe. Wow. He's on a hat-trick again in a World Cup game. And that's number 14. I mean, we're going to keep doing this until he inevitably breaks the record at some point. It will happen at some point, but will it happen at this World Cup? And by the evidence of this game, he's passed Lionel Messi and Jules Fontaine. And now he joins Gerd Müller as the 3rd highest scorer at a World Cup ever Only R9 and Miroslav Klose have scored more than Kylian Mbappe. France continue on their goal-scoring feat like they have in this second half. They've looked so much more dangerous. And Mbappe could have this record very soon. Mbappe's just having a lie down on the pitch. Elise, the hold up, Cherky stayed down here, Mbappe, which might be a bit of a concern. He's making sure all his teeth are still in his mouth, I think. See it again, it's just a clash here. As we see the replay of the goal, that's unbelievable finish. Wonderful from Elise in the build-up. I mean, absolutely transformative for France in this second half. But that is unreal from Kylian Mbappe. It's all on him. And they're bouncing. The French fans. And he's up and okay, Mbappe. Which I'm sure the French fans are very happy to see, because quite clearly they need him. But what a player to have. Oh, Sharky. Poor ball given away there. And by maybe the last chance of the game. Oh! Oh my goodness me, I think it's just off the line there, but they almost scored an own goal, France. I think Mike Magna did just enough to deny Aurelien Tchouameni the embarrassment, but see it here. He tries to clear it away, but he toe pokes it a little bit. Doesn't put much through it and ends up looping it towards his own goal. And Mike Magna with a big save to stop it. But there's the final whistle. A chaotic ending to what was a wonderful, in the end, performance from France. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, they were magnificent. Magnifique, as they would say in their home tongue. Kylian Mbappe was exceptional with his finishing, but Michael Elise was the key that unlocked the door to the Senegalese defence. Wonderful vision to find Mbappe for the first. And it was Rabiot's vision that found Barcola for the seconds. And then just a sprinkling of Mbappe class for the third. Ibrahim Mbaye gets a mention for his goal for Senegal. A wonderful goal it was. But France weren't going to throw it away late. They get the job done. And 3 beautifully taken goals. Final score is finished France 3, Senegal 1. And that is what is a ultimately pretty perfect result for France in the end. And a pretty good opening game. They haven't lost an opening World Cup match since 2002 against Senegal. And they weren't going to do it again. 3-1. And that is a perfect start for one of the favourites for this tournament. And Kylian Mbappe has started this World Cup like he left off the last. 5 goals in his last 2 World Cup appearances and a brace in the opening game. And the second goal was pure class. The other 2 teams in this group will get underway in less than an hour's time. Iraq against Norway is an 11 o'clock kickoff to see who will react to France's victory with a possible win of their own, to see what will set up match day 2. France play Iraq next. Senegal, Norway is the matchup for match day 2. And then in the early hours, if you're willing to stay up to watch the world champions, Argentina start their tournament in the defence of their title against Algeria at 2 a.m. as Lionel Messi takes to the field for the 6th time at a World Cup. And then Austria, Jordan in the early hours. But we'll be back tomorrow for Portugal against DR Congo at 6 to kick off Group K in Houston, before we head hot-footed across the state of Texas to Dallas for England against Croatia at 9. But Les Bleus are off the mark. They needed a bit of a kickstart, but Michael Elise, once they got going with him, it was Mbappe's magic that got France off the mark and 3 opening game points. Good night.
the